Hello, everybody, and welcome. My name is Alice Redetti. I am a spiritual teacher. I live in Italy, in Torino. And I'm very happy today because I'm going to interview my spiritual teacher, Adam Chacksfield. Welcome, Adam.
Thank you, Alice. Lovely to be with you.
Thank you so much for being here. It's a miracle of technology that allows us to see each other between San Francisco and Italy. So your biography is available on your website, adamchacksfield.com. So if everybody's interested can see it on the website directly. And I'd like to start from the beginning for me. So when I met you the first time in 2018 in Milano. So for the first time, I heard speaking of non-dual awareness. I know your approach is different, but would you like to explain what is meant with the expression non-dual awareness?
Yeah, it's one of the sort of confounding things about non-dual awareness, non-dual teaching, is that it's pointing to that which we can't identify. So, like when we look for like what we are or what's the basic truth about reality, it's like we can't find anything. Like it's always disappearing on us. Whenever we look closely at anything, it's like it just disappears because this is not divided. This is not separate. So there are no things here to grab a hold on. It's like it's yeah. So like, what is it that's speaking right now? You know, we can say, oh well, it's the mouth, and it's like, well, what is it that's experiencing the speaking from the mouth? And yeah, like what is it when we actually look? Like, what is it that's experiencing? It's like there's nothing to find. It's like, yeah, this is happening, but who knows who it's happening to or how it's happening or where it's coming from or where it's going. It's like so radically open. So whenever we say like, this is how reality is, or this is my model or my interpretation, it's like, it's just to see that that's always made up, that's always constructed. That's just a frame of reference that helps us communicate, that helps us move around and orient, but it's not the truth about what this is.
Okay, yeah, really interesting. And thank you. It was really clear and good to understand for me as well. Yeah. And so when you speak about, you often speak about the field of awareness, it is maybe related to this fact that we can't know what is it, we can't relate.
Yeah, there's nothing to find. So it's like, so it's kind of like what happens to us when we realize like there's nowhere to land here, there's nothing to grab a hold of. And it's like there's nothing to figure out, there's nothing to know. There's no way that we should be oriented here. It's like, so when that happens, it's kind of like the mind just can rest and open. So like all the different ways, all the different sort of ways of seeing this have become available to us, but none of them are the true way of seeing this. So there's this sense of sort of relaxation, opening. Yeah, it's like it's just an invitation to sort of drop out of whatever we're holding on to drop out of whatever the frame of reference is, whatever the orientation is.
Yeah.
You know, as I'm still just feel the sort of relaxation in the system. You know, it's like there's just nothing that we need to be focused on. You know, like there's no problem to solve.
Yeah, that's why I remember when I came to the first retreat in Milano, after this 2-day retreat, I had the impression I had understand nothing. But so because probably I was expecting to understand something important for me, or but even if I had this impression not having understand anything, something changed immediately. It was so amazing because even the people I sent this proposal, oh, would you like to come with me to Milano to see this person? And no, okay, no. And then when I come back, the same people told me, when is he coming to Torino? Or only hearing me speaking because something had changed. It was so amazing.
Yeah. Yeah, it's like that. It's like the realization like can't be explained. So it's like so when people are sort of like, well, what is non-duality, or what are you talking, what's non-dual awareness? It's like as soon as we say what it is, it's like it's not that. It's never what we say it is. So this is the sort of the difficulty that all the sages have. All when we have a realization, we have it's like, wow, something shifted. Like, wow. It's like then we try to explain it to someone, and we can't explain it. And if we start believing our explanations, it actually takes us out as well. Because now we're in some. It's like now it's a philosophy that we're like trying to manage and persuade people about. So it's really like that direct invitation to fall into the sort of the intimacy of our experience, like not knowing what this is, like just being so open and available.
That's why, because why when you call the field of awareness, when you start meditation, something happens immediately, but it would be impossible to say where it is, the field of awareness, what is it. But something is there, something has changed. Would you like to say something more for people who will see this video about the field of awareness? What is for you, even if it's not possible to?
Yeah, I mean, they're like, it's almost like it doesn't really matter what the words are that we say. Like it's sort of like where the words are coming from is being shared. So it's like that's the invitation. So it's to sort of fall into the vibration of like, opening to the field of awareness, opening to non-dual awareness. It's like it has it's like there's something that can resonate inside of us. And like, but it's like there's nothing to do and there's nothing to like find or grab a hold of. Like as soon as we like go to that, it's like we're looking for something. It's like it's like why I use the word falling open as well, or opening to the field, or it's like it's really just that relaxing, that opening up. It's like there's nothing for us to find. It's like we're just allowing this.
So you mean also that the words in themselves are not so important, also saying field of awareness or falling open.
Right. Yeah, it's not like my words are like the special words or something. Yeah, awareness, consciousness, non-dual awareness. None of the words, like nobody knows what these are. They're really like taking us beyond what we think we know. It's like it's going beyond whatever we're holding as images or ideas in our minds.
Yeah.
The true self, the I, all this stuff. It's like there's nothing to find there.
Yeah.
This is why searching doesn't help, It's like
What's so?
This is why searching doesn't help, when we're looking for what's the thing, what's the spiritual experience, what's the non-dual experience. It's like there's nothing to grab, like.
Yeah, because often also in spiritual paths, we are used to look for something, ready for the right experience, for the perfect meditation. But here we come also to the other word that use often gentleness, that your approach is so gentle also with this awareness, because so another thing that happened at this famous retreat, I was really surprised really surprised when one person was sharing something and you were telling, wow, it's beautiful. And I thought, what's saying? Why is saying beautiful to everything? I was really not used to this. And but it was, of course, it was clear that you were sincere in this. There was no manipulation. It was not an effort to bring the person to feel well or good. It was really a sincere appreciation, and I was so surprised. And I'm. And this, I think, can be easily misunderstood, or like a peace and love general approach. Would you like to say something about this? Because for me, it's really, really the core of your teaching: gentleness and non-judgment, etc.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. So when we make contact with what's really here, like the direct experience, it's like it's you know, it's not what shame tells us. I mean, this is maybe the best way to say it. Like, shame tells us like it's not what it's supposed to be. It's not good enough. You know, or it's just a word. It's like oh, it's this or it's that. You know, like it's like it's sort of, it's like we're yeah, it's like we're looking through a filter of the mind. We're looking through a sort of typically a shame filter. Like it's sort of at our experience, like we're judging our experience. So when we meet our experience like as it is, when we're just open and intimate and let ourselves be touched by it, let ourselves be so sensitive to like let it be felt, whatever it is. It's like the beauty of that intimacy, of that deep contact with our aliveness in all the different forms. I mean, the myriad forms of aliveness. It can be anger, it can be fear, it can even be the somatic experience of shame. We don't believe that it's true, you know, we don't believe we're bad. And so when we're just like having the experiences and we're with them, it's like we're in connection with the like the juice of life inside everything. Like there is like a natural appreciation and enjoyment. And it's not the dualistic, like, you know, like be positive and look at the bright side or any of that sort of stuff where we're like trying to avoid like here. It's like this happens in the opening to everything, including like the places that have been condemned, you know, for as long as we, you know, were taught to shame ourselves. You know, so it's like, so it's opening to the darkest places, the places that are so scary for us. And in that opening and that receptivity, there's yeah, the beauty becomes apparent, the enjoyment becomes apparent. And even that, I mean, even these words are not, you know, because they all have the, you know, the dualistic, like, not that. What do you mean, you know? So it's like we can really be here for all of it, like whatever the experience is. There's nothing that, you know, we shouldn't be allowing ourselves to experience. We shouldn't be letting ourselves know in our experience. It's like we get to feel all of it.
But where so often this movement of shames and of thinking that we are bad and not good enough are unconscious. Mm-hmm. And so it's also difficult to look toward ourselves with gentleness. And in my experience, it has been, in the first step, very important to receive from you the gentleness, saying you're good, you're enough, you're. So where is the gentleness arriving? Which is the moment in which people can really feel the gentleness?
Yeah, it's like the when we're like connected to the truth, like it's the true reality awareness, when it meets what's happening, is so gentle. It has no violence in it. Like, the universe is not condemning us. It's not saying we shouldn't be having the experience we have, or it's only half as good as it should be, or why aren't you, you know, more elevated, or any of that nonsense. It's like it. So the way it's unconscious is typically we believe that voice. So we're looking through that filter. Like that's where we're looking at ourselves from. Like, oh, this is my crappy experience, my inadequate, like shame I'm not more evolved, shame my parents were the way they were, like just, like I'm not good enough. It's not what it's supposed to be. If I was more of a spiritual practitioner, maybe it would be, we're looking through that as if that's the truth about us. So often it's really hard to come out of that perspective and meet what's here, like openly, like as awareness meets it, like,
Yeah.
what is this? Just like, like allowing it to be felt as it is. So it can be really helpful to sit with someone who's not in your shame story, who's not looking from your particular shame perspective, who's just like here in openness, like, oh, what's happening,
Yeah. Yeah.
Meeting it with that, with that unconditional quality of like, there's nothing that you can have, there's no experience you can have where I'm going to like condemn you and say you shouldn't be feeling that, you're feeling that because you're a bad person, because you're unevolved. Like I'm not looking from that perspective. I'm meeting you as you are in your innocence and in the aliveness that you are as it's unfolding.
Yeah, so it's really the change of a perspective that helps to see the truth of what you are. Is that you are saying? Yeah,
and it's not a change to a different perspective. It's a dropping of the perspective. So it's not that it's not that I'm fixing my perspective to like, well, you've got to look with love, only see the stuff, It's like I'm just not in the shame, like I'm not holding a perspective. I'm totally open to like noticing whatever's going on there, opening to it as it is.
Yeah, this can be really very hard in my experience, because we are so conditioned. Even easy example, with a physical disease, a problem in the physic, I and a lot of people I see, they think that there's something wrong, especially spiritually developed persons, that they know that this has a meaning, and something maybe I did something wrong, and so instead of staying and looking at this disease with love, we are condemning ourselves and create more tension.
Yeah.
Body.
Shaming can be so subtle, like it's like you say, it can have this sort of spiritual guise of like, well, no, I'm just looking for the deeper meaning or whatever. But it's like, and it's totally fine to to inquire, because everything's connected to everything. So it's like, it's totally great to like feel into all the different layers and so on, but not from shame and not from inadequacy, not from like, I shouldn't be this way. It's like genuine curiosity and compassion and openness. Like, what's really here? Yeah, let's feel all these places. And it's so hard to do that. The number of people who like, I'm being with it, or I'm accepting it, and you can feel how they're just like, oh yeah, when will it leave already?
I'm trying to embrace this with love. Oh no, it's not good. Yeah, the change is really subtle, because I remember the first time I translated one of your video and put subtitles, I don't remember, in Italian, I did it wrong with the translation of shame. Then after I was really surprised at this, but shame is incredible. So the power of the conditioning and acting, following shame without knowing we are in the shame. So
and it happens so quickly. It's like the rejection of our experience is so fast. It's just like, it's so automatic, and it's like, it's somatic as well as like mental. So it's like, so the sort of somatic, like, oh, this shouldn't be here, and we feel uncomfortable or scared, tight, and immediately we have a story about what's happening. Like it's not supposed to be this way. There's something wrong with me. I'm having the wrong experience.
Yeah. I feel your approach is really powerful, because even if one person doesn't understand exactly, but it feels really like you have no condemnation, no judgment towards the person who's with you, And this is really powerful. It's really a new experience as well. For me, it has been new when I experienced it for the first time. And yeah,
I just also want to say, just to like I feel like that space of like genuine openness, like this, just like we're here in awareness and we're experiencing what's happening. It's like it's not so inaccessible. So it can you know, like what you were saying, when you first meet it, it's like, wow, what is this, you know? But you know, I mean, you've been to these retreats where it's like many people, maybe most people in the retreat start to be in that space where they're experiencing other people as they share from this space of openness and compassion. So people are sharing about their story, imagining they're going to be condemned, and like everyone's hearts are just like wide open. You can just feel it in the room, you know.
Yeah,
it's so available. It's not something that, I don't want to make it sound like, well, I'm just this rarefied being that like you know, only arrives on the planet once every 3,000 years or something. It's like, I mean, it's like much more accessible than that. Like, it's the truth that it's like, it's just being here without holding the shame perspective, without holding the judgment perspective. And often we do that with people, you know, because we're, you know, even, you know, it's much easier for us to not be in someone else's shame perspective than it is for the person themselves. So often it's, you know, when people are sharing from their shame, many people have the capacity to be there and like, you know, like, I'm just here with love and non-judgment. I don't, you know, with total compassion. Yeah.
Beautiful. Yeah, so it's not only you, huh, with all this. Okay. Yeah, about shame. Okay. Last year when you came to Torino for the retreat, you told me you were doing this new training, somatica training on erotic and intimacy, embodiment, blah blah blah. And I remember I thought, wow, interesting, but it's not for me for sure. So I'd like to speak about this. You speak about this because I'm doing the training with you, and it's the most powerful work I've done in my life, and I find really revolutionary the approach of the therapist, and I really like to use this word because it is therapist in this case that is involved so in intimacy and with the client. Would you like to talk about your experience with the somatica training?
Yeah. So, yeah, erotic embodiment is sort of like, it feels like it's sort of the final frontier of embodiment in a way, you know, like in most spiritual communities, certainly the non-dual spiritual community, you know, sexuality is really just not addressed in most spaces, and if it is addressed at all, it's often sort of subtly shamed and like, well, you know, you shouldn't really, you should move the energy up, and it opens, you know, higher chakras, and you know, like, exactly. There's always these messages that our actual erotic experience is not what it's supposed to be. It's very rare for it to be like positively embraced, you know, like, oh, what is that, like let's see it as it is, and open to it as it is. See the beauty of it as it is in its innocence.
That's
so
an incredibly vulnerable space, and that's why one is thinking, no, this is not for me, I'm too old, for example.
Yeah, and we have so many messages around sexuality. I mean, the shame sort of cultural shame story around sex is so intense. It's like what we're supposed to be turned on by or not turned on by, you know, when we're supposed to be turned on and not turned. It's like so intense. So we all have this experience of like the innocent experience of our erotic being is like not what it's supposed to be, you know?
Yeah.
It's like I'm too sexual, or I'm not sexual enough, or I'm sexual at the wrong time. You know, it's just like, it's totally like, it's just not what it's supposed to be. And because it's so intense culturally, it's like there are so few spaces where we can really open and share about what our erotic experience is. So the somatica training that I took has allowed me now to offer space for erotic embodiment and intimacy coaching. So I can offer sessions for people where we open to like what is your erotic experience, and we do that in a way that's that allows for like real-time exploration. So there can be touch, there can be an exploration of like what's the dynamic with a partner in real time. So, and then again, that's really like the most powerful way to explore this, because you know, where else do people go with, you know, the ways, the fear and the shame around sexuality? It's like typically there's so few spaces to talk to people around about it. And when we're actually with someone in that situation, it often feels like really high stakes. You know, to be rejected sexually, it like just feels like terrifying. You know, we could lose our partner.
Yeah.
But to have a space where you can actually move through those fears and that shame and explore what's there and discover like the beauty of the erotic energy and the aliveness and vitality that's can flow through our system when we see it as it is, rather than through shame and fear, the gift that it is.
Yeah, I remember I learned in the Taoist practices that our sexual the sexual energy is the ground for our vital energy. Yeah, okay, nice, but this is theory, and then this is, I think, really the worst place where we think we are not good enough, we are bad, we did something wrong, or etc. So it is really needed. This you're doing.
Yeah, and it's like the invitation to really trust the truth of our experience and the intelligence of our experience. So often with spirituality, and especially around sexual spirituality, like there's an ideology that's being imposed, and like a sort of like a blueprint of like how we imagine a guru should feel or look or experience things, and then we condemn what our experience actually is. So the invitation here is to really honor like what's our direct experience, because when we open to that, like with loving awareness, it just reveals itself as in its full beauty and its magnificence.
Mm.
Yeah, it's like the shame and the fear just like starts to evaporate, because it's like we see there's nothing there that's terrible. There's nothing there that's like going to destroy us. There's nothing that's bad that needs to be shut down, that means we shouldn't, have a body or exist or be sexual.
Yeah, it's wonderful. And it's really needed. It's not easy because we are so conditioned, and since we are really children. But it is. I'm convinced it's really absolutely needed, and I hope to bring this to Italy as well one day. Yeah.
I mean, for me, it was like very much like sort of the latest opening is the erotic opening. Like to discover like the shame that I was still holding there, like totally oblivious to it. It's like wow, so then I could just, it was like so clear as that started to open how important that is, and how for so many people it's like it's just like there's no space for it. It's like it's just not addressed in a lot of contemporary spirituality, or if it is addressed, it's addressed from a very ideological, shaming perspective.
Yeah,
so it's like I noticed. I mean, I sort of wondered when I made the offer. I sort of expected like, oh, everyone's going to freak out and they're going to like have all these negative projections that I'm just trying to have sex with people or something, and it was just like, but I have to offer it because it's so important, and I've just been amazed by like the response that's happened as I put this out. It's like people are just like, oh, thank God someone's offering space for real. It's like we can explore this as well,
Yeah, because there's really no space. Or we haven't spoke to nobody during all life about sex experience. Very rarely, with one good friend maybe, but not. And there's so yes, accumulating of experiences and accumulating shame, and so it's really wonderful to can explore this and see how much shame there is. This is incredible. I was really surprised. Wow. Yeah. Mm. Yeah, I remember the first session I had with you in person. Oh, and it was only sitting in front of each other, but I was so scared. And I remember I was terrified. It was so surprised of this, but where come from this? And there are these places where that we never looked at, etc. So thank you for doing this.
There's so much fear around it. I mean, that experience, you know, the experience you have with that, like that meeting that fear and the shame, and it's like just like the wow, it's so full on. It's like so normal for people. It's like, I mean, that's been in my experience with like a lot of people who show up for the sessions, and there's so many people who are, you know, like want to have the sessions, but like there's so much terror, they're not even going to sign up for it. You know, it's just like no, that's not for me. Like maybe if, you know, but like no.
Yeah. Yeah, and I'm surprised to see how that as soon as so the shame, the fear is going down, then life energy, there is more life energy available also for work or to so for everybody, everything and everybody as well. It's amazing. It's a surprise. Mm.
Yeah, it's so connected to our enjoyment of life, like the essential nature of existing. It's like allowing that. Like so when we think like sex is bad and erotic energy is bad, it's like we're just like trying to like contort ourselves against that and not allow that. It's like it's so hard for us to enjoy existing. It's like so much of it is like that
Yeah.
erotic dimension being open and available to us.
Yeah, often I think that so depression and low life energy or most lot of people have a sense of life like life is not nice. Not I think it depends also the fact that there is this disconnection from our life energy, our sexual energy and vitality.
Mm-hmm.
Do you think?
Yeah, yeah, there's so much energy that wants to come through us like that. And it's you know, it's like that like the inspirational energy, the juice, the like yes, you know, like that's it's like there's like an erotic flavor to that. There's an erotic component to it. It's like so when eros is not allowed, when eros is bad, like no, I'm not supposed to allow, I'm not supposed to enjoy. It's like you know, it's bad if I enjoy it. It's like yeah, we're just so shut down.
Yeah. Mm. Mm. Thank you. Mm. Thank you very much.
Yeah, thank you, Alice.